Assalamualaikum and greetings. I am Syafiqah and I will be presenting my proposal thesis supervised by Dr. Noor Aini Saleh titled Effects of Caloric Restriction and Intermittent Fasting to the Heart Rate Variability. So the objective of this research is first to analyze the effectiveness of both caloric restriction and intermittent fasting diets to the heart rate variability. Second is to identify the significant difference between both diet regimens in terms of heart rate variability. And lastly, to thoroughly analyze the correlation between both caloric restriction and intermittent fasting to the heart rate variability. So for the problem statement, in recent years, unhealthy diet has become a trend among the society, and it has led to an imbalance in cholesterol level in the body of a human. In 2014, ischemic heart disease has become the principal cause of death with a percentage of 13.5% with decline of 0.2 percentage points compared to 2013, in which it has at least 13.7% of death. In 2019, according to the National Health and Morbidity Survey, 50.1% of Malaysians were overweight, with 19.7% of them facing obesity. And based on this statistic, it has driven us to initiate this research project with aim to contribute to the human health and society. Moving on to the literature review. During my literature review, I have found few previous work that has similar purposes to this current study research. First is by Olivia in 2016, where she conducted a research to investigate the correlation between heart rate variability and diets of an individual. Second is by Donald E. Major et al. In 2006, he conducted a research to investigate how the caloric restriction and intermittent fasting can alter the spectral measures of heart rate and blood pressure variability in rats. And third is by Monica in 2012, where she conducted a research to determine the effectiveness of this intermittent fasting combined with caloric restriction diet to weight loss and cardiac protection in obese women. And lastly, Madsen has done a number of studies of this research of field, and one of his review is the review of the beneficial effects of intermittent fasting and caloric restriction on the cardiovascular and cerebrovascular system. Effects of this caloric restriction and intermittent fasting that have been proven in the previous study. First, the figure to show the examples of the influence of eating pattern on levels of glucose and ketones in blood. And by this study, it has proven that the practice of intermittent fasting especially has proven to improve the cholesterol level in human body. And from figure 3, it showed the improvement of the caloric restriction on the hypertensive organ damage, a review conducted by T. Daniel in 2021. So for the research methodology in this research project, we will start by planning the project workflow of the study. First, we will start by identifying the problem and then do a literature review on the certain problem. And then after we found the objective, what we want to find out in the study, we will gather the participants based on the criteria desired and brief them about their role in this throughout this research. And then moving on to the participants performing the caloric restriction and intermittent fasting diets in the given period of time. In this context, 2 weeks. And then after performing that, we will do a data collection before and after the participants perform the CRNIF diets. And then we will do a spectral analysis by applying fast Fourier transform to the raw data by using MATLAB Simulink. And then we will do the analysis and comparison of the result. And moving on to the thesis writing. So prior to the experiments, participants will be briefed about their role throughout this research project, and they will have to sign the consent form and also fill in an additional survey detailing their lifestyle and diet history. And all of this will be done in a confidential manner. Participants will be selected by certain criteria. First, with different cultural background, as we believe cultural background affect an individual's eating style. Second is the participants with controlled hypertension and diabetes. So during the experiments, the participants will be divided into 2 group diet regimen. First, for the caloric restriction, participants will be advised to consume their energy intake daily 20% lower from usual without exclusion any of the food group. And second, participants will be advised to possibly avoid unhealthy food such as junk food and food high in calories. And then participants will be advised to drink sufficient amount of water daily. They should be performed this dietary practice for about 2 weeks. And then we will do data collection. And for the second diet regimen in second group is the intermittent fasting. We will use the 14 to 10 method. But 14 ratio to 10 method will be used in this diet, but in which participants will be advised to fast for 14 hours in a day and break their fast in that 10 hours of time, and that during 10 hours of time they can eat moderate amount of water. And also, participants in this group also will be advised to avoid eating any unhealthy food and drink enough water daily. So for the data collection, two types of data will be collected, which is ECG data and the blood pressure of the participants. The data will be collected before and after caloric restriction and intermittent fasting diet is performed. This data will be collected at the same time around each day, around 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., considering the influence of the circadian rhythm on the heart rate variability. For tools and software, for collecting data, we will use blood pressure monitor to collect the participants' blood pressure, and then we will do the spectral analysis on the ECG reading by using MATLAB Simulink, and then we will do statistical analysis by ANOVA and SPSS on the obtained result. Proposed results and discussion. Heart rate variability often associated with a reflection of a cardiac health of an individual. Thus, throughout this project, we expected to see a higher variability of heart rate variability for both diet regimens. We also anticipate the difference in HRV reading before and after performing the caloric restriction and intermittent fasting diet. So what should we expect from the research outcome? First, this research may provide new insights into the effectiveness of caloric restriction and intermittent fasting to the heart rate variability and how it can be compared to other diet regimens. Second is, this research may provide support evidence for further research in this nutritional intervention and its correlation to the heart rate variability. Lastly, this research may identify the potentials of the heart rate variability as a preclinical diagnosis that help in prevent various chronic disease. Conclusion and recommendation. The assimilation of caloric restriction and intermittent fasting in our day-to-day life, to some extent, has been a huge contribution in human general well-being. The advancements of technology that enables us to utilize the heart rate variability as a preclinical diagnosis of a cardiovascular and other related disease has also driven us to engage in this research study in further researching the effects and correlation of the caloric restriction and intermittent fasting diets toward HRV and human health. So a future research can be conducted in targeting a larger scale of population with a variety of parameters. Throughout the future research, the success of the experiment could provide more justification of the current hypothesis, hence provide more evidence to further strengthen the hypothesis of the current research study. Thank you.